Hi, well, welcome back to another Disney Infinity tutorial. This is the last stage of my Rogue One toy box level. We'll have one more clip after this, which will be the full playthrough to show you all the whole thing working and seeing if the level's any good. But in the meantime, let's show you what's this level based on. Now, I've picked the ghost ship, which I haven't used in quite a while, and some people have to confirm on this because I believe if you bought Disney Infinity after the server shutdown, I don't think you can unlock this ship, which is a bit of a shame. But this ship is quite cool. Right, so what I'm going to show you in this clip is the shield is actually active. So if we should try and fly down onto our base, we're going to fly down to the planet, we will blow up and die. Okay, so the shield, the planet shield is activated. So what we're going to show you is that how to make a shield active so you can't get through. So you'll see here as I fly through, bam, I get killed, I get reset back up to my ship and have to start again. Okay, so what we're going to show you that is that how to make the shield switch on and kill you. Then after we destroy the Star Destroyers and they crash into the base, we're going to show you how to deactivate the shield that allows you to fly through and not die. Yeah, so that's the purpose of this particular clip, and then I'm going to show you that once it has been deactivated, as you fly through, the shield will change the atmosphere and you'll go down into the planet's ground. Okay, so that's the objective of here. Now I'm not going to go through the whole battle scene here, so I'm just going to speed up to the point where we destroy the Star Destroyers, and this way you can see how the thing works. Okay, so this is the point now where we've destroyed the 20 TIE fighters, they're all dead, and the orbs have now appeared around the Star Destroyers. So what we have to do now is we have to take out those orbs to make the 2 Star Destroyers crash. Now, it's any excuse to show you the crash again, but also to point out to you that obviously when we load up the level, the camera is spinning, rotating around constantly. So depending on how long you take to destroy those orbs, the camera is only switched on once the Star Destroyers hit those particular section. So therefore we will see a slightly different view every time of the crash, yeah, which is quite a good part. So the longer you take, the camera could be in a different position. So therefore you won't always see the explosion in the same place. So we'll just get the, I think we just got the last one there. So these now as we fly these things, Star Destroyers getting closer. Slight crash in there, not too particularly nice flying. Now here we go, the Star Destroyer comes in and we now get the explosion coming across. You'll hear this beeping noise, that's the TIE fighters hitting my ship. But there you see, they were attacking me as we're flying around, but the Star Destroyers are crashing in again. And now this view, I can see the Rebel cruiser in the backdrop, so which is quite good. And we're getting the items spinning round, crashing through into the screen. Now, when the Star Destroyers reach the bottom, we basically trigger a link that makes now the shield not kill you, which now allows you to fly through that shield, yeah, and gives you that crash. As you'll see, we're still exploding, we're coming through here, and what happens is when the scene cuts back, it returns us back to our ship. So we'll get to the explosion, we're back to our ship. Now what we've got here is the Star Destroyers are both destroyed. If we fly down, we can now fly through to the planet. We will not get blown up. Okay, so just a little bit of killing through. Radar gets called out, the shield's down, so we can now fly down. So here we go. And this time we don't get killed. And as you change, you'll see the planet atmosphere change, and we are now in the Sea World of Scarif. Okay, or the Bermuda world of Scarif. I don't know what type of land it is. Now I've changed the land slightly just to get it through, but we'll just fly back up. Now, and as we fly back up, we go back through the area, and now you'll notice we're back into the planet atmosphere. Yeah, so we can come back and fly through, and then we fly back through down to show we're not getting killed again. It keeps changing back and forth. And that's the effect really quite to do. Now this clip basically has 2 more elements to it. So one thing I'm going to show you how to create the shield to destroy you. Then I'm going to show you how to fly through in between it. And then the last stage is quite crucial to the actual toy box level. I'm going to show you how to cut the scenes, how we're going to get the gameplay to change from land battle to air battle, land battle to air battle. So we're going to show you those little stages as well, and you can then pick out which elements you want, either whether you're replicating this level or if you're just picking elements from this clip for your toy box level. Right, so let's get back to the open box and let's get this thing finally changed. It's not a particularly long clip, so here we go. So you'll notice here that we've taken a few little things here. Right, now what I've done here is I've taken off the sand. Yeah, again, streamlining the level even more. So where I wanted the sand around the side to show you the little islands, wasn't really possible. It was claking up the space. So I've taken that off, and then I've moved the trees around the edge of those boxes, which actually gave me more. Actually allowed me to take a lot more trees out and give you the same condensed angle. So that actually works quite well. And with the sea background, it's not too bad. So I did it all around the case, and that freed up more memory. Okay, so again, because I was trying to keep the land and air battle within the same game, this works quite well. So I've moved all the trees away, and actually just freed a lot more memory up by getting rid of those big giant blocks around the side. So that's basically all I did for those two options there. Just delete them out and then just move the trees in, and actually there's less trees when you take the blocks away. Right, so that was the first little quick thing I changed. Right, let's go back here. But the next thing is we want the shield generator. We want to put a shield on that's going to be on the planet surface here. Okay, so this is our shield gate, and you'll see all my path tools for my rebel fleet and the Star Destroyers. So the question is, where can we fly through? So what we're going to do is we're going to need a trigger area. So I'm just going to scan through here, grab a trigger area. I'll get there. Right. Now in this trigger area here, we're going to place this directly underneath the shield. Yeah. So I'm going to move it across, and this trigger area is going to just sit underneath it. So you've got to go right underneath it, right there at the bottom. Yeah. I'm just going to clock that in. Now what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to stretch this trigger area to fill a large area of the map. So those little four corners, if you go to those little corners there, you can click onto those points. Click once to the X button to move it, and then we're going to drag out in a corner and make it as wide as possible. So not up, we don't want to go up, we want to go crosswards, so it's got to be below it, and all you have to do is now move it left and right. You don't have to do it, so we're going to just stretch this. I'm going to try and make it as big as possible. And this was one of the other panics I was doing when I was building this, because this is going to be such a large area. I thought, is this going to take up a load more memory? And it didn't seem to affect it at all. But if you look at my gauges, I'm right at the very top. Now the memory part is, like I mentioned in the previous clip, the two gauges. That top one there is actually how many different types of objects you can use. So once you get past that, you can't add any more objects. The bottom one, the one just below that one, that is actually the memory of the system. That's going to tell me if it's going to slow up or crash, and I've got a good little gap there to help with all the explosions still going off while I'm playing it, so it shouldn't be too jumpy. Okay, so that's one side done, and now I'm going to go to the bottom corner here, and I'm going to stretch that the opposite way in the corner so it goes out. So theoretically, as a pilot, you could go to the edge of the planet and then you could turn down and fly underneath it. So you could fly around the shield, yeah. But remember, you can't see the shield when you're playing the game, so you don't know how far you have to fly out. So I'm making sure it's quite wide enough to hopefully capture the user and not realise that they've gone that far. So there is a weakness to the mission, but you know, you're playing this and you'll get. I can guarantee that when you play this, you don't realise that you could fly around it. That's the whole object. They can't see this trigger area. So I've stretched this all out. Okay, but the shield bit is the quickest part, and this is why this clip's only a small little 28 minutes long. So there you go. There's our trigger area. So that's it done. So when we fly into there, we want us to explode and die. Okay, so that's the plan. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go into our little base up here. Okay, and we need a couple little bits of logic. Okay, so I'll put it on this side where the Star Destroyer is not. Now I pasted one of these areas in earlier, check that it could work, but I basically got a kill switch. Yeah. So this kill switch here is going to destroy you as a user when you go into this particular area. So I'm just going to move this over to the side. So let's put this particular box here. And I need a trigger area. Now, not trigger, a logic gate. Now the reason why I need a logic gate is that once the shield has been destroyed, I need to switch this gate off so it can't kill you anymore. Okay, so the default setting for this logic gate is going to send the signal to get you killed. Okay, so we'll place this down, and every time we enter the trigger area, we're going to send a signal to this gate that says kill you. Okay, so I'm going to put a little logic in there. Okay, so that is all you need to activate the shield. Yeah, that is basically it. That's the shield part for you. Okay, but I need two more logic gates, and these two logic gates are after the event, right? And what these logic gates here are, they're the ones that deal with the atmosphere. We'll do the first bit first though. So this bit here is going to be what kills us. Yeah, so what we go down to is that we say, right, when we enter this area, so new logic connection on this trigger area, when we enter that, so new connection, when entered by any player or player, in this case not any because we don't want the TIE fighter ships, by any player though, right, we want to input a signal into that first logic gate. Okay, so that goes a signal into there. Thank you very much. Can we input a signal into there? Right, so input. That deals the fact that we've gone into there, so can we input into that? Done. Now what we're going to do here is that we're going to do another connection, so here, so we're going to do a new logic connection on output. Can we defeat the user? Can we kill them? Simple as that. So new logic connection on output, can we defeat whoever's the one that's done that? Yeah, so can we defeat that person? That will kill them up, will destroy them. So we've got defeat player. It's not defeat the whole game, but defeat the player, doesn't matter. Yeah, defeat all, defeat A, but we want just defeat the player, they're just dead. Right. Now in this case you're going to do all players. Everyone goes in here, all players are going to die because we don't know whether it's player 1 or player 2. Yep. So all players get killed. If anyone goes into, they've crashed the players. Right. So that's your shield now active and running. So what we need to do here is, right, when our Star Destroyers come crashing down, yeah, and they've reached their pass, they come all the way down to the bottom, they get killed. We know the shield theoretically should be switched off. Okay, so we can say, right, when we reach this point, so when our Star Destroyers reach that point, we're going to do a new logic connection. So on there, I'm going to do a new logic connection. When point reached on path, can we close that logic gate? Okay, and if we close the gate, you won't get killed any more than when you go into it. So let's go back up to the top. Right, so we're going to here, and can we just close that gate? And by closing that gate has now deactivated the shield, which means you won't fly in there and you won't die. So that is all the logic you need to switch a shield on and off. Okay, so that's that part done. The second part is that once it's blocked, so when we go new input connection, when input is blocked, can we input a signal into this logic gate? Because this logic gate is going to deal with the atmosphere. Okay, so what we're going to say here is, right, we've got two parts here. Okay, and what we're going to do here is we're going to send a signal into those parts depending on one is input and one is blocked, and those other two gates there are going to deal with the atmosphere. So we're going to do on output, so when input blocked goes in, on output, can we input a signal into this one? Okay, and then from that logic gate we're going to do new logic connection on output, can we close that gate? Okay, so then we go back into the ship again, so we fly through the atmosphere. It was a different route now, so we're going to new logic connection. When input blocked, can we input a signal into this gate? Yep. And on output of there, can we open that gate? So this is basically a switch that flicks between the two, and those two end logic gates are going to switch the atmosphere depending on the route that we've come. So basically, as you come through here, it says, right, we're up in space. The first gate will say, right, now we've got that signal, can you change the atmosphere because you're flying down to the sea world? And the other gate will then switch over that when you fly back up, it switches it back to the space planet. So those all move your logic back and forth. Yeah. So we've got those items there on the screen. So what we're going to do now is, now I've got these switches, I'm going to need to use a sky changer. Okay, so I'm going to put a sky changer onto this logic scenario just to see this particular part. So this will deals with the atmosphere. So let's get our sky changer tool, right, which is quite handy. There I am ready, and I'm just going to place that in here. Right, so on this sky changer tool here, we're going to do the first one. Right, so we're in space. We know that's been blocked. So the first time we've done it, we're in the space field. We're actually in the battle. So on the first gate that I've got, which is the when it goes straight through, I'm going to do new logic connection on output. Can we change the sky changer here? So can we go into here, the settings to this one? And we don't. We want to go down to not change the sky. By the way, I accidentally choose change the sky. What I wanted to go down to was Disney Infinity. So it's Disney Infinity setting I want. Yeah. And in there, I want to go down and change the sky. And I, in this particular case, chose the SeaWorld one, wherever it is. Keep going down a little bit lower. Where is it? Open Sea Sky. That's the one. Open Sea Sky. So that will set that to the Open Sea Sky. Okay. Which is the one I want. Okay. Now the other option will then set it to Infinity and Beyond. So I'm going to set that to Open Sea Sky. Right. Now when that's the case, we're down below the trigger head. Now when we fly back up, we're going to send the signal now is pointing to this route. So new logic connection on output. So the output, that's great. We're going to then change the sky back. So this will then change it back to the Infinity and Beyond. So Disney 1, Infinity Beyond. That's the setting I want to change there. So that's now going to switch the sky because we're now above the level. And that will switch us back and forth between the sky and those modes. Now the only thing we need to do is make sure that we set the default setting for that sky mode to be the open sea world, because we start at the bottom of the map. Okay, so the last thing we're going to need to do on here, right, so we're flying through here. Okay, is it will fly through these settings. Yeah, we've got our map. We are going to be down here to start with at the beginning of our game. Okay, so therefore our default setting needs to be set that we are in the open sea world. That is crucial, yeah, because that's where we start there. So in this case, we're going to go straight to the properties of the actual item, and we're going to change that, and we're going to say Disney Infinity, can we change the sky, and can we set that to the open sea sky? Because remember, when this game loads up, we're going to be down on the ground first. We do the battle first, and then the fleet are going to turn up, and that basically sets our level up, yeah. So the next stage I'm going to show you now is how we cut it within our gameplay. Okay, so that's the starting point that we're on. So we'll just speed through now to the next part where we will show you how we cut the gameplay between each section. So this final stage of this clip now is not dealing with the atmosphere change or the shield generator. It's to show you how we incorporate the different stages of our Rogue One level to trigger you to different parts of the game. Okay, so that's the bit really down this section. So it's broken up into like 3 elements. We've done the shield, we've done flying through the atmosphere, now we're doing our gameplay. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring a checkpoint in. Okay, and the point is of that point is important. I want it facing on top of the ship. I'm going to put this checkpoint here on the screen. Okay, now I don't want the checkpoint to be visible, I don't want it to be shown, but I'm going to put one checkpoint here and I'm going to put another checkpoint on the ship. Okay, so on here I'm just going to change the settings of that, and I'm going to change the settings there, and I'm going to make that hidden. So we know it's there, but in the gameplay you're not going to see it. So I don't want the user to be aware that checkpoint even exists. So I'm just going to switch that off, and it's hidden now on the screen. Okay, we'll come back to that in a moment. Okay, now the other one we're going to do is put a checkpoint right at the very top of where the spaceship is. Now these are 2 points that I'm going to take you back to at different stages of the game. So you're in space, we're going to take you to spaceship. You're on the ground, we're going to take you back to that ship. So let's put the checkpoint in, and again the dot is important. The dot needs to be in the top left, which means you'll be facing outwards, not in ship. So I'm just going to have that little lip here. That's one of the reasons why I put that little lip, so I could actually have you half out of the ship already. So that's our little checkpoint here, and I'm going to hide that setting. Okay, I'm going to go down that and take that off. Cool. So there are 2 areas that I want the user to go to when we're ready to play our game. Now, like I mentioned, to start with, we're on the battle. Yeah, we're fighting the objects down the screen. So we have the user have 2 ways they can do. They can either go left or right to go and get the various keys to unlock the computer to get the Stardust plans. So in this case here, we can do it either way method. So both these options will work. So I'm going to use a logic gate here to help trigger us where we go. I'm going to need 2 of these. So let's get myself a logic gate. Okay, now we've already set up this on my previous clip on transmitting Stardust, but when we defeat our boss, this little ID card will be displayed. So what I want to do is that once we collect that card, we've done the fight, when we collect that card, we're going to input a signal into that thing. So when broken or collected, can we input a signal into this particular logic gate? Okay, now what we're going to do from here, you could have done it that route, or you could have done it the other side. So depending on which door you unlocked first, whether it was blue or yellow, you could have gone this way. So it has to match either way. So in this case here, new logic connection, yeah, when broken or collected, could you input a set? So again, save myself having to duplicate this up. So I'm going to go all the way back. And we'll input a signal into there. Okay, so now we've got that signal in this particular case. Yep. So what that does is that either way those collected. Yep. So what we're going to do now is we're going to say, right, new logic connection on output. Right, we are going to send the user up to space, and they are now part of the rebel fleet. So we're going to, gameplay is going to jump up to this particular section. So we're going straight to our little rebel cruiser up top here. Right. And what we're going to do here, which is quite handy, and I didn't know you could do this, if you click onto the option on that screen, so we go to that signal there, what you can do is you can set the checkpoint, which is great, but that's only if they die. But what you can do is you can actually teleport the person or all the players to that checkpoint. Now I thought you had to use a teleport button, but you can actually just say, right, send everybody up there, now they're done. So as soon as they complete that option, we're going to send them straight up into space, which is fantastic. But the issue up there, obviously, the atmosphere is different because we're looking at the SeaWorld. So we're going to have to do another logic gate from this trigger to say, right, once we've sent you up there, can you now also, so we're going to do another logic connection here, so new logic connection, on output, can you also change the planet to be the infinity moon? Otherwise it will look odd that they'll see the SeaWorld. So in the other case up, we're going to have to set this all the way up. Now, at this present moment, although we send you there, we're going to do one more connection, right, where we need to say right, set the area as well. At the moment we teleport you to the place, we don't set it. So in this case here, can you change the sky? Yeah, so in this case, can you logic connection, can we change that to Disney Infinity, and can we change it to Infinity and Beyond? Okay, so that will give us the space atmosphere because we are now back up in space. Now, what I'm going to do now, like I mentioned, one more thing here is just to set the trigger area. So I'm going to use 2 gates instead. So I'm going to go back down here. Dun, dun, dun. Right, and get my another logic gate. Look at that perfectly. Put that by the side. And the reason why I'm doing 2 is because you can't link one logic gate to the item twice. So new logic connection. On output, input into that signal here. And what that will do is just set the area. So new logic connection, go up to the top there and set the area. So on output, and we'll just do along here. Dun, dun, dun. And we'll chuck the output onto this. So we're basically what we're going to do is not teleport the user. We'll set that as whenever you die now, you're going to end up here. So I'm going to set that as the checkpoint. So now when you die, that is where you're going to be. So all that is all set there on the screen. Done. Okay, now the question is, that's now got into space, what do we want to do with the game? We've done all that logic there, so I can then go and move those out of the way and hide those. So the next part of the thing is, great, we set up the space, how do we go back between the two? Well, there are a number of objects for the space mission. The space mission is take out 20 TIE fighters. Once you've taken out the 20 TIE fighters, you have to take the orbs. So that's my staging point. Stage 1 was take out the Star Destroyers. Stage 2 will be to do the orbs. And when you've done stage 2, you can then fly back through the atmosphere, so we don't need to teleport you back, which is quite handy. So we only have to teleport you once back down. So there's only those 2 gates there, so I'll hide those out of the way. You'll never see them because when you are in that part, the door will be closed. Right, so what we can do now is let's go back up to the shield gate. We've got all that set up. Now on the shield gate side, what we will do is here, similar thing, but we're going to do the opposite and send you down to the planet. So the question is, when do we do it? And that's just the 2 counters. And I have these 2 counters in the corner. Okay, this counter does my TIE fighters. This counter does the orbs. So just to double check they've got the right one, just going to check the properties. They're my 4 orbs, which are great. Yeah, so I can forget that one. So the other one should be my 20 Star Destroyers. So that one there should have 20 Star Destroyers on there. Okay, we'll just double check that. Go to properties. Has that got 20? And if it has, then we're going to create a new logic gate. Long pause here for me, I don't know why. Must have got distracted. There's my 20. Excellent. Right, so that is my Star Destroyer scene. Now, when target reaches great, yeah, well, what we're going to do here is, so when we hit that 20 target, what do you want to do? So target is reached. Can we go back down to the planet? And this logic gate that we chucked down here, right, can we, what I'd like you to do here is say when we reach that target, can we set the checkpoint for all players? So we're now telling the user, right, we are now, if we die, we end up down there, which is quite handy. The reason why you have to set that is because what happens is that when we're fighting, we get teleported with our spaceship. That's the only little downside. I can't just teleport the user, so the user might want to just fly back up again and take the rest of the object up, so that if they do, they're going to get killed going up the system. Okay, so what we're saying, when target reached here, new logic connection, when target reached, input a signal into this gate. So we input into here. Now the thing, now we set our respawn area, what we can do is new logic connection, on output, right? Can we change the atmosphere? Because we're going to be now back down below, so can we change that to Disney Infinity, and can we go open to the OpenSea world? Dun, dun, dun. OpenSea world, where is it? I've gone past, there it is, OpenSea world, cool. And then the last thing we want that logic gate to do, new logic connection, on output, can we then send that signal all the way down, and can we teleport the user here? Now we only have to do this once, because on the next stage when we get sent up there, when we destroy it, we can then actually fly down ourselves, yeah, which is the cool thing. So to let the user know the shield has worked. So what we're going to do is we're going to teleport all players down to here. So we're now underneath the shield, and we've now got to go back into the Citadel and do the next part. That is it for our Rogue One level. I will get the next clip out, which is the full part, and then I've got a load of Infinity War clips coming, so look out for those. I hope you like this one. Don't forget to tag a like, I do appreciate that, that would be really good for you. And I will get the next clip of the whole level, and you can tell me if you like the whole thing or not. Cheers guys, catch you later, see you in a bit.